What is up, everyone? And welcome to a emergency, in a good way, edition of Nuts and Bolts. Me and Tony Tucker are here, and we'd just like to open it up to all the Washington Commander fans, any Vegas Raider fans who actually think the Raiders are going to get Devontae Adams. They're not, by the way. Any other fan bases that are mad? Jacksonville Jaguars, they made a bunch of bad moves today. Maybe Jets fans are just sick of the shit. Also, the Zoomois, come on. Y'all can go ahead and sign up now. We actually have a Los Angeles Chargers bandwagon application. All right, so you just fill this out, you send it in to me and Tony, and then we'll add you to the team. Welcome on over. Bolt up.
San Diego Chargers are fortunate to have Lance Allworth.
On blue, ready?
Don Coryell.
Touchdown, San Diego! Woo!
We just intercepted day one with JC Jackson. That was a dad pun for everybody out there. Welcome into Nuts and Bolts with your hosts, Tony Tucker. That is Mike on the mic, or NFL Mike. I'm not sure what he's going by right now.
Just call me Mike.
Mike. It works for me. Both of us could not be happier about how the day unfolded, right? Like, just we'll get into all that stuff, the impact on the team, how free agency's going, who you like, who you don't like. No idea who this South Breaking Ankles is, but
I don't know. But we are going to talk about the holes in the Chargers roster. Spoiler, there aren't any.
Look at this. David Oliver here to celebrate with us.
Oh, that's instant replay. He's one of my friends. That's awesome. Thanks for coming in, fellow Chargers fan. Before we get the show started, Tony, I want to give you a celebration gift along with our celebration toast. Okay? I just pulled this live on TikTok about an hour ago, and I have to give it to you. I can't keep this without, knowing that you are who you are. A signed Josh Palmer rookie card.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's all yours.
For real?
It's all yours. Yeah.
What?
It was the first card in the first pack I opened.
Oh, my goodness. Michael, thank you so much. I love this. I have a huge card collection, but it stopped with LeBron James rookie card. And I haven't collected cards, but if I were going to, this would be my guy. I have been driving this bandwagon of Josh Palmer since FanFest, when the kid just went out there and balled out. And yeah, I get it. It was 7-on-7. They were basically playing in their shorts. Didn't matter. He balled last year. That touchdown on 4th and 21 against the Raiders. Absolutely. This kid is going to be fantastic. And
it's pretty unbelievable that this kid is the most underrated player in the starting lineup now.
So that's the thing is, when I look at it, and I was talking to somebody today and they were like, but they're not doing anything for offense. And I was like, well, we'll get into that, but thank you for that.
I got mine. I got my cool one, so I'm keeping this one. It's like a moments card, and it's Herbert's first touchdown when he ran over the Chiefs in the first game because poor Tyrod. But hey, sometimes someone has to be the body shield and take one for the team.
That was the moment where it was like, well, he can do everything. Like he's displaying the arm, and then he's just trucking people on his way into the end zone. Hasn't slowed down in 2 seasons.
This is actually kind of frightening me. I just don't remember everything we did in those long Monday Night Football streams or those long NBA streams. I have no idea if he actually has a clip of me blowing a kiss into a camera.
I don't know. Maybe he said, if you bring him, I don't know, if you bring JC Jackson, if you bring, Sebastian Joseph Day, if you bring these players that we wanted, I think Joseph Day was on both of our wish lists that we did on our last episode.
And JC and Sebastian. But Raiders Zone, who the Raiders signed? There was news that they're working on a deal with the Badger. Never broke that they officially signed him. So what happened? It fall through?
Oh, I didn't see that. I went through the NFL tracker right before we got on, and it didn't have anybody linked to the Raiders yet.
Big baller cards. Rewind. I just gifted Tony a card. You got to rewind and look at it. But he's saying Joey's somewhere crying right now. Yeah, he ain't coming on tonight.
That's his boy Meat Hammer, I think, right?
Oh,
the one
Meat Hammer?
Yeah, I think so. What's going on? Yes. He is crying into his pillow right now. His wife is rubbing his back, trying to console him. It's not going to work, Morley.
Today's been rough. The Raiders are selling the bag. Yeah, dropping the bag, fumbling the bag, selling the bag, just falling way behind. But then again, the Broncos and Chiefs also made no moves. All right, Tony, where do we even start?
Let's start with the excitement of J.C. Jackson, right? Of getting the number one corner on the market. When they list all those top 100 free agents or top 50 players or whatever it is, J.C. Jackson was number 2 behind a left tackle for the Saints, who actually had a down year. But I get why left tackle is so important. You know, like, think about what he could have done for the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So it's a big move. Think about what Rashawn Slater did for the Chargers last year. Getting that left tackle, I get why he's number 1. But then you go to number 2. And I had my doubts, my hesitations about Jackson, right? Like when you first told me this is the guy we want to have, we got to have him. And I was like, but it's Belichick. They don't do well. And then the more I watched, I was like, you're absolutely right. Like the kid's smart. He can cover. I think he's got a personality that was kind of kept in check from being in New England. Like we might be getting some flavor with Jackson, Derwin James.
Yep.
And this was the biggest thing that I saw from signing J.C. Jackson. It elevates Mike Davis to the number 1, number 2 corner in the NFL. Like, I don't think that, and nobody else is as big and can cover, who can still, you could literally put both of those guys on an island. Like, if you told me that he was going to go one-on-one with T. Higgins and JC was going to go with Jamar, and we're going to bring the house with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, bring it on, Bengals!
And Sebastian Joseph Day and Jerry Tillery. I mean, the D-line is and I've been watching Sebastian Joseph Day stuff back, and we're going to talk about that signing as well. That's a big one. That's a huge one, too. He's a bat ball king, and he gets after quarterbacks from the inside of the D-line. But, yeah, I love the JC move. This is probably my favorite offseason move the Chargers have ever made, honestly. I love the Corey Linsley move last year, and that's back-to-back years, by the way. The Chargers have gotten a top 3 ranked free agent and an all-pro level player in free agency. But I like that you point out that you were worried about the Bill Belichick thing. But here's the thing about the Bill Belichick thing. Bill Belichick usually moves on from aging star players that he doesn't want to give that final, like, we're going to ride you off into the sunset as a Patriot deal. J.C. Jackson is not that kind of guy. This man is 27 years young. He's going to play 4 elite level years in the NFL again. And I always thought that he was a zone guy until I really looked into it. And he is just an all-around really good corner, top 5 in the league without a doubt. And you can argue him probably into the conversation with like a Jair Alexander kind of guy. And people don't really pay attention to JC as much. Because I think in New England, that defense is just accepted to be good. It's just expected to be good.
And I think Belichick gets the credit. It was the same thing that I was saying to you about him. I see Cody. I see you in here. Thank you for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button. We got a great season ahead. Love the thumbnail there. I'm not forgetting about Asante. I think they are going to push Asante inside there. And eventually at the end of this video, I'd like to talk about potential draft opportunities with the 17th pick. It feels very wide open, and I almost won't be upset no matter what direction they go in. You could tell me they're taking Matt Ariza. I'd be like, let's bring it up. Let's go. But
Tom Telesco earned my trust back. I'll tell you that much for damn sure. But yeah, don't forget about Asante. This is key for Asante Samuel because I feel like he's built for the slot. No matter what Asante says, he wants to go out and compete with the best wide receivers. I hope you had fun your rookie year, Asante. You're going inside. You're playing the slot. You're going to play some of the speedier slot wide receivers in the NFL. And I love it, honestly, for him. I think that he is going to be better in coverage than all the slot receivers in our division except for Hunter Renfrow. And those situations, they're going to give him help with Nas and Derwin over the top. So that's going to be awesome. And they're not going to have time for these Hunter Renfrow triple routes. They're not even going to have time to run them anymore. They're not going to have time for Darren Waller to run 30 yards up the seam because Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Sebastian Joseph Day, and Tillery, and maybe Jordan Davis are going to be coming for his ass. And I say his, I mean Carr.
Yes, for any opposing quarterback, to me, is in for a sleepless night before they have to play this Chargers defense. The thing with Asante is moving him inside. He wants to play the best. We're seeing a lot of the best receivers in the slot. We're also seeing a lot of teams moving their best receivers into the slot to try and get them an advantage in coverage. But now you're bringing them in to deal with Asante. That doesn't give you a break. It's not like you're bringing him in to go against Chris Harris Jr. Don't get me wrong. He was very smart, but his better days of athleticism were behind him last year, and he just kept getting beat. Like, he couldn't do it anymore. So I love Asante Samuel. I think whether you had him outside, if you told me he talked the coach in, he's going to stay outside, they're going to put Mike Davis in the middle. What this brings is depth to that position without even going into the draft.
Yeah.
Like pick 3, there's going to be some good big corners that could come in, have zero expectations, and just be depth pieces. Guys that play on special teams. Maybe you bring in one of these corners that's also a versatile kick returner. Like, now all of a sudden you get an upgrade at special teams and at cornerback, and he'll get some easy reps in there where you can bring him in and have him playing Sterling Shepard or something, where it's like, he's good, but like, this is a place to cut your teeth rather than cutting your teeth against Kupp, Tyreek Hill, like some of the better, bigger receivers.
Yeah, and I agree. And Big Baller Cards is pointing out it's a luxury to only have to rush 4. And that is what Brandon Staley's #1 ranked defenses last year in LA was built on. That front 4 being able to rush and that secondary being able to play man coverage. And now we are built on, dare I say it, better. I mean, I think we got more guys at a higher, like across the line, a higher level than what the Rams had that year. I love Leonard Floyd, but Khalil Mack.
Yes, I'm with you 100% on that, right? Like, the potential of talent there to me is, it sways a little bit because Aaron Donald is so gifted, right? Like, yeah. I think if we combine those two lines side by side, he's definitely one, and then probably Bosa in that group of players. But I think David said something too. Jerry Tillery is gonna get some one-on-ones. This guy is gonna have an opportunity where he might get 10 sacks, and then next year we might be saying, why didn't they offer him a contract last year when they could have got him cheap? And now Tillery's gonna test the market, or he's gonna have to be franchise tagged, or because next spring, whenever we're doing this again, we might be needing to figure out, hey, Derwin, we didn't come to terms. We need to tag you, or whatever it is. Like, so I think Tillery has a big year where he can get lost in a defensive onslaught. Khalil Mack, JC Jackson were added to a defense that was good. The one problem was they couldn't stop the run. Like, and then you bring in Khalil Mack to help with that. Come on.
And we might not be done yet. There is a lot of rumors going around. There's a lot of tweets going around about a Joey Bosa restructure that could clear upwards of $10 million. Brian Bulaga cut that could clear another $10 million. And there's even talks of a Khalil Mack already restructuring to help the team out to sign some players once he's officially on the team on Wednesday. So the Chargers might not be done. And I see everyone in the chat, and I love that the chat's lit up right now. We're going to talk about what's next for the Chargers after we talk about our other big addition of the day. I think we can skip over Austin Jackson. I got to do more research on him. I like the move, I think, from a quick glance at his run stop stats. He actually ranked really high run stop wise from what I'm seeing all over Chargers Twitter. And Chargers
so let me do that. I went and did a couple of quick videos from 2019 when he was playing with the Titans. And the guy is really tough to move. He's going to be really good first and second down. He does have a little bit of ability to get into the backfield, right? But the main thing in all the highlights they were showing was that it was just so hard to get him off the line of scrimmage, and anything that was coming his way, he was taking on double teams in some of these highlights, Mike. Like, where this guy's eating up 2 blockers. Now, can you imagine that situation where he's not going to have to worry about 2 blockers because he was playing next to a young Justin Simmons on that team on 2019. Like, it wasn't like he's going to be playing with Bosa and Mack. So this kid is really going to get a chance to flourish in this position. And I think first and second down, he's really going to have a chance to thrive there and be able to make it tough to get some yards up the middle. I liked everything I saw. And when you add him to a defense like this, it makes a difference. That Titans defense in 2019 wasn't very good. Yeah. You add him to a defense where there's talent, now all of a sudden he rises. I'll be interested to see what you see when you get a chance to sit down and watch him.
Yeah, I'll take a peek. I was looking at his numbers from last year, and the things I like seeing was the high grades in run stop and the high number in tackles. And I go and look, I'm like, high number in tackles, how have I not heard of him before? I realized that he got a lot of playing time last year because of injuries to the Giants, and he played 17 full games. He played in 17 games last year. Some health on the D line. So I like that too.
If you're thinking about the Giants too, like, I mean, they were losing like almost every game, so teams were just running the ball at them. Like, hey, we need to get home. We need to get out of here without any injuries. But he was making the plays.
I went to the Giants-Chargers game. I probably saw him play. Don't even know it because the Chargers just walked on him. But
that will go down as one of the greatest throws we've ever seen.
Big Baller Cards. I need you to screen record this and send it to Joe. Joe, 4K. We got Raiders fans out here sending in applications to come and be bandwagon Chargers fans already. It's only been a couple hours, and we already got them in here.
I hope the Raiders don't tank. I want this division to be as competitive as it can be.
Cars. I 100% agree. Speaking of Carr being screwed, we talked about JC, talked about Austin Jackson. Chargers weren't done, of course. Not only extending Destin Hopkins late in the day yesterday, which is a good move, 30 of 34 last year, the first good kicker the Chargers have had since I've been alive. And also, the Chargers add Sebastian Joseph Day. Me and Tony have been hitting our desk like we're Skip Bayless on crack about Sebastian Joseph Day all offseason, and sure enough, he comes to the Chargers. All the connections were there. All the reports were there. Oh, boy. Tre'Davious Ward just left the Chiefs for the 49ers. But, yeah, he just signed with the 49ers, a 3-year deal. So he's
the kingdom is falling.
But, yeah, so Sebastian Joseph Day, Tony, we've been hyping him up all offseason. This guy might be one of the more underrated interior D linemen. $8 million a year. The same amount that J.C. Jackson's hitting the cap. Every contract is just coming out, and I'm just – what do you think about the addition?
So this is what I think and what I love so much about Sebastian Joseph Day. He was predicted at like $5 million, but Telesco wasn't frightened by that. He didn't say, oh, it's going to be a couple extra $1 million. No, we need this kid. He has a connection with Staley. He played really well. Staley was the defensive coordinator there. Like, he played well while he was there. Now, I hear some people going, yeah, he played next to Aaron Donald. It's probably easy to eat. It's like, no. Watch the kids' games and highlights. Yes, baby. You going to bed? Yeah. Okay, good night. I love you. Say sweet thanks for J.C. Jackson going to the Bolts right there. I just brainwash him young. But I just think that Sebastian Joseph Day's ability to come in and be able to continue to play with high-level talent, we've already seen him next to high-level talent, and he stands out. So if he can do that now, it's like last year we didn't make the playoffs because Brandon Staley called a timeout to put our run-stop defense on when we were the worst run defense in the league. You could have done a crapshoot with a freaking fan selection and had a better chance of stopping the run. But I digress. This year, when he calls that timeout and he's like, hey, you get in there, that I have no doubt that if you're going to run and they know you're going to run, it's at minimum going to be like a 1 to no yard game.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like this is going to help Joey Bosa have a career year too. I think we may count up 15 Bosa sacks if he can remain healthy for 17 games or 14 games even, because Bosa gets double teamed on almost every snap and chipped by running backs. and chipped by tight ends all game long. You can see it when you're watching the end of those games, and Snake Sports Talk is in here, big Chargers fan as well. Thanks for tuning in. He can also attest to this. Bosa will be absolutely gassed by the time we get to the fourth quarter, let alone going to overtime in game 17 of the year. Raiders fans, you ain't going to get that cheap shit again. I'll tell you that right now, because Bosa is going to be rested. They're going to be able to rotate him across the line, in and out of the line, and come the fourth quarter is going to be the time where Bosa's eating, not holding on and trying to breathe air, suck in air for his life anymore. Bosa's going to have a big year. Bosa's going to have a huge year, in my opinion. I think Bosa and Tillery are the two guys to watch out for potentially having career years. Anything else to add on the additions? And we can start talking about kind of like what's next, because I see a lot of comments about it, talking about Jason Verrett. I got a couple people in mind with the little bit we got left, or if we do clear a little bit more space.
No, because everything that I would be saying would be about what's next, right? Because, well, you got these three. There's no reason to stop with this and be like, hey, it's been successful. We were able to retain Mike on what now looks like a pretty good deal. When you look at what Christian Kirk got, and I'm a fan of his, but not that kind of money. I'm a fan of Zay Jones, but not that kind of money. Like, now you look at Mike Williams, it's like, oh, the deal's not that bad. It's not that far off if receivers are going to start making this kind of money. That's good news for guys like, for Juju, because he might tell the Chiefs, hey, I'm not coming there. Look at what these guys are getting paid. Yeah. I'm going to go play for the Lions. I'm going to play for the Jets. I'm going to play for a team that'll overpay me too. And I can get a contract, for $69 million for 3 years. Like, okay, good luck with that. Dump offs over the middle for 4-yard gains and good blocking on sweep routes. Congratulations.
Yeah, I guess the Jaguars spent $230 million today.
I know we're not talking about this because it's nuts and bolts. I do like what the Jaguars did.
They're doing something. They're bringing in people at least,
yeah.
And it's like we're gonna actually have some players on the roster at least. And last year was just a gutted roster with a rookie quarterback.
I will give them a favorable grade when we do that, like on our big NFL show. It'll be a favorable grade for them.
Yeah, so here's a few names I have in mind, Tony, and just tell me what your thoughts are. Okay. For one, I have been critical of Linval Joseph's ability to go side to side. He's more of a straightforward bull rush, but he does do a very good job at clogging the middle of the field. If he's like, hey, no one wants me, I want to play one more year, and I see that I have a potential to go to a Super Bowl now. 1 year, real team friendly. I kind of want Linval Joseph back now, because
I'm not mad at that at all.
He doesn't really need to be anything other than like our 3rd and 3 run stopper, goal line play run stopper.
Yeah, very Gilbert Brown from my youth. I know you won't remember that, but Gilbert Brown was like a 390-pound defensive tackle that Green Bay would bring in. And it was amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So I kind of like the idea of him coming back now. And I think that that's something that the Chargers would do, because he's been a team captain actually his entire time as a Charger. So he actually is beloved by the team inside the locker room and around the facility and organization.
And also too, again, everybody so let me just say this really quick before we fully dive into this, is that like when you elevate one level of one side of the football or one element of your team so much, it makes everything better. Think about how many drives were not ended on like 3rd and 7s or even 3rd and 2s or whatever that will be ended, that will give more opportunities to, in my opinion, the best quarterback in football. We can have this argument another time. It started last year. This year, it'll be recognized by many. And by year 4, I will not entertain any arguments. Like this, Justin Herbert is going to ascend quickly, rapidly, fast. It's going to be insane what's going to happen. Yeah. You give him the football more because the defense is better. You get more takeaways. You're trying to tell me we're not going to have more turnovers with J.C. Jackson in our secondary and Khalil Mack on defense? The one person that I'm really kind of worried about not coming back is Kaiser White. But if some of these other rumors of restructuring are true, I would like to have him back, because we missed out on the linebacks. I wanted a Luakon or Campbell or whatever, and these guys signed for about $10 million. I get why that's a little rich for guys that you're not really sure if it's going to work for them, long term.
if you're going to spend that money and we're all in, spend that money on Bobby Wagner. But yeah, I really want Kaiser White's hand signing a paper as soon as they possibly can get to it, because even if we don't add anyone else, I think with the draft and with Kaiser White, we'll still be okay at linebacker, and you can be okay at linebacker in the NFL nowadays. You don't have to have these insane Fred Warner level guys when the D-line and the secondary is both elite. But speaking of linebackers, I want every Charger fan in the chat's opinion on this, okay? This is a TikTok posted on Sean Merriman's page.
The AFC West is the best division. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack,
Sean Merriman,
Derwin James. If the Chargers draft Jordan Davis in this upcoming draft, I'm coming back.
Tony, it's a ridiculous thing to think about, but 37-year-old Sean Merriman, who, I mean, only rushing on third downs, maybe even inside. I don't know how freaking big this guy's gotten. He works out every day. I know that. But he might be on juice too. But inside, Sean Merriman, any chance? Would you even entertain it? Because he set his Jordan Davis / JC Jackson whatever requirements to come back. It could happen.
It's not that far off, right? Because Jordan Davis he's in our neighborhood, right? Of that 16 to 22, he's going in most mock drafts. And I think that's going to kind of where he's going to end up. I would love it, right? It comes back. It's like, it's exciting. It's nostalgia for the fans who were with him in San Diego and who've been with the organization for a long time. Why not have him get out there? He could make a play and just start.
Bro,
it would be nuts.
Even if he
shout out Andrew, thank you for stopping by. Big Bulls fan.
Even if he just dressed for the games, he just came out and hit the dance before everyone else came out in uniform. That's all I want to see from him. Pay him his $500K to do that every game.
You want to turn Sean Merriman into a mascot?
Yeah, pretty much. A active player mascot. And I will say this: if they bring Sean Merriman back, I'm not saying for the regular season, but say we're going into the playoffs and this team is 14-3. By the way, a Raiders fan, shout out to Juan from the Max and Juan cast, commented on my video about signing JC Jackson. And he's like, I've seen good Chargers teams before. You'll go 14-3 and choke in the playoffs. And then I responded with, so you think, as a Raiders fan, you think the Chargers are going to win 14 games? That's already saying something. That means we did something. If you're out here calling for a 14-win season, I think that would tie for the most in the history of the 17-game era, which is only 2 seasons long. But you just called for an all-time 17-game era season from the Chargers, Juan. Hope you realize that. But if they bring Sean Merriman back, we're in the playoffs. You better bring Philip Rivers back as our backup. All right? He can go as a backup with Easton Stick holding the clipboard in shorts, back up Justin Herbert all the way to the Super Bowl. And then when we're kneeling on Brady's ass, Rivers goes out there and kneels the ball.
So I love it. You just want to bring back all like Antonio Gates.
Bring him all back.
Yeah.
LP, let's do it. Put him in the uniform.
All of these guys, they just get in sweatsuits because they're a little husky to be in uniforms now. They'd all look like, they look like actors from The Longest Yard. I think that it's definitely fun to have all of these guys there. And I would love a better backup quarterback situation. And I think Rivers is definitely an upgrade over Chase Daniels or Easton Stick or whoever. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Fam in the house. I love to see it. Great.
One can dream.
So Andrew really wants Bobby Wagner. I've talked about it many times. I just think the price of Bobby Wagner, I read some stuff. Bobby Wagner wants like a 4-year deal. He's like 32 years old. That's a long time. It's a lot of money. I'm fine with it if there's like an out after 2 years, but I don't know if you can work that kind of contract with him where you could just say basically like, hey, we're going to give you money while we're here now, but when it's time to pay Herbert, if you're not producing anymore, you're no longer a member of the squad.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Bobby Wagner scenario. Bobby Wagner's camp said that they want to play, like he wants to play in his hometown, which is Los Angeles. So Rams are on the table, I guess, but they don't have any money.
None.
So maybe now with the new additions, he takes a pay cut.
Mike, I will, whatever I'm doing, I will stop, I will turn on live, and I will just dance. I'll just dance. If he's like, yeah, I figured it out. We worked it out. Bobby Wagner. He's been one of the most underrated best linebackers in such a long time. Like, there are very few guys I think that can control so much from that position. Like the Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher had a little bit of that. Zach Thomas in Miami. Like some of these guys that have the ability to be effective in a pass game, the run game, like just choreographing what's going on in the middle of the field. And he's got that ability. I would love to see Bobby Wagner next year in the middle of the defense. And we would all be booking hotels for Arizona for the Super Bowl. I'll say that right now. If Bobby Wagner, I already feel like I'm going to.
I have a lot of tickets and jerseys to buy. I'm going to be a very poor man come season time. Yeah, we're going to talk about the draft here in a minute. I also would be ecstatic if the dude played an all-pro level last year. You just know as a linebacker, the cliff is coming. And like you said, that worries me about a potential long-term deal. But a potential like, hey, Bobby, we got 2 shots, legitimate shots at a Super Bowl, and you improve our chances by 15%.
So one of the things I told you when we were talking was that I was okay with taking shots on a couple of old guys. And if we're not getting Akeem Hicks or Fletcher Cox or somebody in the middle who's also old, we already got Khalil Mack. He's a little bit older. I still want to take a shot on another veteran, right? Like I would still like to take a shot on a guy like Bobby Wagner in the middle if it makes sense financially in years when it's time to sign Derwin and it's time to sign Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to lose potential, well, guaranteed in my mind, Hall of Fame talent for a Hall of Famer who's on the back 9.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're not going to lose. If we lose Herbert, I'm going with them. I'll tell you right now. He hopefully goes.
I tell you, it's very sad to do that. As somebody who speaks from experience, it's very sad. I cried a lot.
I cried when Rivers retired too. But yeah, I don't mean to pull a full Alex Robson here and talk about my predictions. But in my little Chargers rebuild I did on TikTok, I had the Chargers tagging and then re-signing Mike Williams in the offseason. I had the Chargers getting Sebastian Joseph Day. I had him getting J.C. Jackson. And then after all that was done, I mean, Sebastian Joseph Day fits in this category also. My goal was to fill the roster up and try and add some guys, even if they're just backup level, that have some Super Bowl experience, that have some playoff experience, that have been on successful teams. Because when it comes to the end of the season, some players are going to have to step up in some moments if injuries happen. And has any team ever gone through a season without a single injury? I don't think so. So I'm not sure who those guys are, but if the Chargers sign some veterans that have playoff experience, that have been on the Patriots, that have been on the Chiefs, that have been on the Rams last year, like Sebastian Joseph Day, I'll be happy with that too as depth pieces. You want to move on to the draft because everyone's lighting up the chat in the draft.
I just want to.
Go ahead.
No, I just want to say this, and I'll make it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What we've seen so far in this also means I think that Telesco is willing to be active at the trade deadline this year. Because if you put this much into this team, I think there's an opportunity where things are going well. All of a sudden, they're like, "Hey, this team isn't doing well," and they want to get off this player. There was an injury on this team, and they want to get off this contract, and they're going to eat some dead money. I think that this is a year where the Chargers look around and they go, "You know what? They want to get rid of their tight end." Like, I don't think we need to go into the year with a locked up tight end. We might be able to do it. Bring us OBJ. Bring us some ace bandages for our knees.
He's like, go up to his house right now and talk to OBJ. Hey, I'm a big OBJ fan. Everyone knows that follows me on any of my social media pages. With what we have, I'm very excited about the wide receiver core. But the phrase best player available is now being thrown around, and it should be thrown around. The Chargers in a situation where even if it's like, hey, we're just making this secondary amazing with a corner, or we're making that wide receiver core the best in the NFL with a Chris Olave, or if, God forbid, Garrett Wilson falls to us. What do you think, Tony? I think we're in that situation too. I still would be ecstatic for another D-line addition because I like to have that depth, and I have the wherewithal of how the season goes. Like, I don't expect Khalil Mack to play 17 games. I hope for 14 to 16. And same thing with guys like Bosa who do a lot of work. What is your idea on the draft? What do you want to see the Chargers do? We also kind of need to talk about this Brian Bulaga situation. Every day that passes, every minute that passes, it's getting more and more likely they're taking a chance on him at right tackle.
But maybe there's some medical. Maybe there's like, hey, since he took the whole season off last year, maybe maybe he's better. Maybe they came in and they said, I doubt it. Back injuries don't get better. I mean, they just don't.
His thing was it was like a nagging back injury, and then eventually he just like said, I'm just gonna have the surgery, whatever it was they needed to have. Yeah. So it's tough. Yeah,
when you talk to anybody, and there's never been a successful back surgery in the history, he's going to be doing DDP yoga. Like, that's the only thing that will help him. Like, he's got to strengthen his core beyond belief. But last time I saw him, the guy's carrying around a powder keg. Here's my dream scenario for the first round pick: that neither the Saints nor the Steelers get anything better than Trubisky or Jameis Winston at quarterback, and both of them are competing to get, let's say, Kenny Pickett or something. Like, they need to move up past us in the draft. We then trade back for their second pick, and we can still get, and now you name two receivers, neither of which I want. I don't want either of the Ohio State receivers. They both will look great in our uniforms, but they're both short and fast, and I don't want them. I want 6'2" Jamison Williams from Alabama, who's falling down the draft board, who runs like a 4.3 40, and is tall and fast. But more importantly, I'd rather have Treylon Burks, who I think has a ton of potential to be a guy that we can use all over the place, lining him up in the backfield. We lined up Keenan in the backfield a few times last time, but there's no threat of him really running the ball out of that position. It's more like he's going to, run sort of an option route, whether it's to the sideline or over the middle. But I think Burks is the big body, 6'2.5", 220, but still runs 4.5, 4.4 speed. Like, he's the kind of player that I think you could get him really easy catches, really easy touches, maybe 20 runs and, 35, 40 catches out of that wide receiver 4, split 3, whatever, where he could do some damage in the offense year one on this team. Ultimately, if we stay with the pick, I want to go with Jordan Davis. But if we got the second round pick for trading back, we could get the guy that I love, Travis Jones from UConn. It's not a big school, but if you turn on Travis Jones, he's going to go in the middle second roundish area. The kid is really good, really big, can rush the passer and stop the run. You put him in there, and he doesn't have to be a starter because we've already added proven talent at the position. So, like, I would like the opportunity to get a second round pick back.
And anyone entering the D-line room, the cornerback room, and the wide receiver room are just walking into just knowledge everywhere. And I like what you're saying, and he's agreeing with you. Almost spot on, the exact same strategy right here.
Oh, yeah.
Chargers go with that receiver after they trade back, either Burks, Williamson, whoever it might be. And then they have 2 second-round picks, get Kenneth Walker and a defensive lineman. And now we can actually realistically go ahead and get that punter in round 3 and just make sure he's ours, because he's not going to slide all the way to undrafted. There's no way.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about it so many times. I would applaud them, and I would go on and I would verbally spar anybody who doesn't think that Matt Araiza is worth a third-round pick. This guy is consistently kicking the ball 70 yards. We overlook what a punter means. To be able to flip the field on the few occasions that we get stopped. Just imagine last year if Staley on his own 18-yard line is like, well, my back's against the wall. I feel like I need to go for it. It's the best option. No, it's not when you have this kid, because all of a sudden he flips the field, and now the Raiders might be inside their own 10-yard line. So it's like, but they're not going to do that with Ty Long. Like, they're not going to be like, yeah, get us. He had the lowest punt average in the league last year. All of a sudden you bring in this kid And now the punt game is a weapon you hope you never have to use, but nobody's going to go through the year without punting. Not even the great Justin Herbert. Like, you are going to get stopped and have to punt. And if you have that kid, it's insane.
We're pinning him deep almost every single punt, even if he's punting from his own 20. Yeah, and special teams doesn't get talked about enough. Special teams lost the Green Bay Packers their season, a team that was loaded, in my opinion. And it's hard to build a team the way they build teams and get it to where you have that many great players on it. And they wasted a chance to win a Super Bowl because of special teams being bad. Our special teams is famously bad. So I would love to see the Chargers get that kid. I think that I agree with you. Everything I've seen on him, he just booms balls. And I just want the Chargers to be so hyped up all over the internet. And he's going to make some viral punts. He's going to hit a couple scoreboards too, probably.
And let's say something happens to Hopkins, or we get into the season. I know we just re-signed him, but let's say he misses a couple kicks. This kid was at the combine being like, oh yeah, I kick field goals too. Knocking him in from like 52 yards. Like, consistently knocking in, and he punts the ball 75 yards. He's a weapon that cannot be understated. And I think it's I just think it's worth a 3rd-round pick. I mean, especially, this is the other thing. I keep seeing people, oh, we need this person at number 17. Really? Can you find a player at number 17 who's going to be a starter on this team? You going to take an edge rusher and start him over either of those guys? No. You going to take a receiver and start him over either one of your $20 million receivers? Nope. You going to take a running back and start him over Austin Eckler? Nope. You going to take a corner and start him over J.C. Jackson, Vato, or Asante Samuel? Nope. Like, the pick at 17 gives us so much more value if we trade back and we get a 2nd-round pick, and we're still going to get a player that can contribute in a limited basis and be there for next year. He can be there for depth, for injuries, hamstring pulls, at whatever position it is. Yes, Curran just said Jordan Davis. If we're picking at 17, he's my number 1 player. I told Mike this, what was it? The day after the Chargers season end, or shortly thereafter, I sent Mike a list of 3 players from Georgia. I said I want Trayvon Walker. His stock has gone too high. There's no way he falls to us. I said that I would like Nakobe Dean or Jordan Davis. These are the 3 players that I would like. The reason I love Nakobe Dean is because if you watch any of the Georgia tape, he's so freaking smart. Like, he's always right there making a play. But I would rather have Jordan Davis.
It's looking more and more because of, I think, a stamina concern or something, which is perfect on a team that has so many D linemen, that Jordan Davis is going to fall. And we could get him at 17. That's a realistic thing right now.
Somebody made a great point about that. They said it wasn't necessarily, if you think about it, a stamina concern. It was that Georgia was so deep. Why not just put him in there for 1st and 2nd and then bring in another 1st-round pick and replace him? You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like he had to come off the field. It was based out of like just an embarrassment of riches why he came off the field.
Yeah, he's gonna be pass rushing against the Buccaneers backup guards in the Super Bowl. 4th and Staley from David Oliver, also known as the Instant Replay on TikTok. I think we're retiring 4th and Staley.
I called it 4th and Herbert, but I would every video, every interview I watched, and Mike can attest to this. I was horribly out on Brandon Staley, but I watched every single interview I could find with him, and I think that he gets it. I think that he was like, I looked at my team, I looked at the opportunities, I looked at the situation, and it was just like, we just have to do this because we're not that good. But I think if you give him the team that they've already assembled, and we're not even done with free agency, we're not even done with the draft, I don't think he makes the same bad decisions, in my opinion, that he made last year. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Clear new season. I love all the timeout jokes from my Raiders friends, like fans and strangers. Okay. When they see me wearing Charger stuff, they'll be like, hey, and I'm like, I don't know you, so take a hot, I don't do that because I'm a grown up, but I would like to.
All the jokes are coming to an end. I even told Juan in that little back and forth Instagram comment section, because his next comment was highlighting all the injury prone players or whatever he was trying to come up with. And I said, you can't give us 14 wins and then say the whole defense is going to get injured in the next take. And he said, you know what? I give up on arguing with you because you're clearly not going to back down. Those jokes, go ahead. Use them up, Raiders fans. trust me, you're gonna want to use them while you can. You're gonna want to use them while you can. Oh man, let's keep going here. Yeah, I think that the Chargers are in a beautiful spot, and they went from having to really fight in the division.
This is a funny comment.
Super Bowl contenders today. Which one was funny? I missed it.
The what is it? Spike this. He's saying that he's a representative from the AFC West, like a Raiders representative. Greetings, and it's like buffering, like that's funny. If it was intentional, I like that joke, Spike.
Can't make fun of the Broncos have done nothing either. And yeah, it's cool that they got Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson's down, as sad as it may sound, from DK Metcalf to Tyler Lockett to Sutton and Judy, even though I like Sutton and Judy as individuals, not as Broncos, is a downgrade. I felt like the Broncos should have helped out the O-line at least, but all the O-linemen got freaking scooped up in the first half of the day, and now Raiders are going to have a bad O-line. Broncos are going to have a bad O-line. Chiefs might still have a good O-line, but that defense is bare bones now.
Yeah, what's funny is Brady came back and ruined a lot of plans for people, like right before, and I think it left some GMs scrambling. Like even the Jets, they were a leader, right, for Carlton Davis, for J.C. Jackson. And then I saw they signed some joiner guy that I'm like, okay, I kind of remember you. Per Adam Schefter, the Raiders have reportedly offered Roger the remaining cap and draft picks to trade out of the AFC West. David Oliver for the fucking win, my friend. That is hilarious.
We'll get him on here for one of these episodes. He's a fellow Chargers fan who's also a veteran that I met on TikTok. So he's a cool dude.
I love it. I really hope with every fiber of my being that McDaniels just ghosts them for training camp. Like he doesn't even show up, and then you see him live on the sidelines wearing a hoodie at Patriots. He's just like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't leave Bill. I got cold feet again, just like I did with the Colts, and I ended up back in New England.
What if we're walking through FanFest this year, and you're walking, you just bump into someone. It's like in all gray and like a hoodie with the hoodie over, and you're like, "Are you okay, man?" And then you're like, "Josh,
yeah,
exactly. You? Why do you have a camera, like a big old camera?"
He's just like, yeah, no, I'm just a fan, man. I don't even know. He's got like a fake Groucho Marx mustache on, like some bad glasses. No, I get that all the time that I look like him, but it's not me, bro.
This is true. I'm pretty emotional when it comes to the sport of football. I go a little too far sometimes. But today, it was necessary. I have more posts loaded up, by the way, because I made 3 separate videos about J.C. Jackson over the last couple of months. And in all 3, of course, the Raider Nation coming in about getting every free agent. They've gotten 0 today. And they're going to get J.C. Jackson. They swear up and down, and I'm an idiot, and I'm a bozo, and I'm a clown. Well, who's a clown now? And I'm going to make a video with all of their comments stacked up on a same screen on a TikTok. And I have a song already loaded for them that basically is just going to mock them.
I love it. It's going to be, and that's why I hope they don't get rid of David Carr, because it makes all of this so competitive and fun.
Yeah, you might as well call him David Carr.
Derek Carr. I got the wrong Carr, brother. Yes. Sorry, the scotch is kicked in.
After the Patriots game? How many years ago was that? The Halloween Patriots game? Was that 45-0? Or was that last year wasn't on Halloween, was it? We played them earlier in the year, the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots game was Halloween.
Oh, it was? Okay, so that's what he's talking about. That's a game we probably should have won, and Bill Belichick kind of just outcoached us there at the end of the game. Guess what? Justin Jefferson ain't gonna be able to beat him by himself either. Mike's TikTok is my For You page. Well, I'm appreciative of TikTok, even though they like taking me down. Raiders Zone is one of the few respectful Raiders fans. I will say that.
What? See, I think most of the Raiders fans that I talk to are pretty reasonable people.
This comment is like hopefully meant to be bluntly funny, but I just think that it's funny. Half the Raiders fans just don't even know anything about football.
Yeah, they don't, and I think those are the ones that I don't know that I engage with. But if I talk to Joe, he's pretty realistic, right? Max and Juan, pretty realistic. Even Willie, pretty realistic.
I appreciate that, Spike. You're the best. He said he left early for the trick-or-treating, and that's just called being a good father, David. And he didn't miss out on anything fun to watch, trust me.
Yeah, I got offered free tickets to that game, me and my wife, and she said no. She said we were going to trick-or-treat. We did spend a lot of money. We had like a smoke machine and a really cool setup in our front yard that we for people to come by and like trick-or-treat at our house. It was a big deal. I still would have rather gone to that game. Although once the outcome happened, I would have just been pissed and drunk and not very much fun.
Oh man. All right. We just passed 50 minutes and it's 9:30 at night, Tony. So
It is.
I have one last thing before we sign off the air. One last question for you. Because I talked to my buddy once Brady announced he's coming back, 2 days ago? Was it yesterday? Yesterday.
Yep.
He lives in Tampa, so I have a place to stay. I told him, I just want to see Brady play. I regretted not going to Bucks-Rams because I've never seen Brady play in person before. He didn't go to the Pro Bowl last year, obviously, because he retired right before it. And I was going to fly out to Tampa, stay with my buddy, and just go to one Brady game before it's over. And I can't go to any more Brady games since I regret it so much. But now I think I'll be watching Tom Brady in Arizona. So if you had to pick one team right now, who are we playing from the NFC in the Super Bowl this year?
It's for personal reasons. I'd love to dump truck Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl.
Oh, man.
No fucking lie. I'd love to go in there and just beat him 45-10 and just watch him just eye roll and throwing his hands up with all his fucking condescending gestures to his teammates. That he's looking around. They can't even sign any wide receivers. Their all-pro wide receiver is at odds with them right now. And he's like, well, I can't release my contract details. So it would be the Green Bay Packers 45-10. And it would just be amazing.
Yeah, I wish Aaron Rodgers luck in the playoffs next year when half of his roster is gutted and he's got to see Trey Season in San Fran in round 1 again. Good luck. Good luck, my friend. Anyways, I think that's it. I'm going Tampa. I want to see Brady Herbert, but just because I'm a big Brady fan, I think that would be a good notch on Herbert's first Super Bowl of his career, beating Tom Brady. But Aaron Rodgers and keeping Aaron Rodgers from getting one more is just as special.
No, flaying the goat is better feather in your cap for sure.
He's still buffering. Guys, yes. Raiders fans, the only way you're getting him is if he holds out for an entire season and then comes in next year's free agency. Give it up. Give it up. You got to wait a year at the very minimum. They're like, it's so bad they've already thrown the upcoming 2022 season away. They're like, we're just going to start focusing on 2023. We need to get Devontae Adams.
I don't see it as, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's terrible. Like, if the fan base is like this, McDaniels must just be doing the same thing. But we'll be back. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, but definitely Friday, right? Nuts and bolts Friday?
Oh, yeah, nuts and bolts on Friday. We'll be back again. What time are we going to set it for? 5:30?
I don't know.
5:30-ish?
Yeah, let's do that.
p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be back. Thank you guys for tuning in. The Chargers are the winners of day 1 in free agency. I think that's a confident cha-ching. Any final words, Tony?
Cheers, David Oliver. It's nice to meet you, brother.
Cheers. We'll get him on one of these episodes.
Yes.
There's nothing in that. Let's just pretend I didn't do that. Screw you, Raiders fans. I don't care that I just drank out of an empty cup.
San Diego Chargers are fortunate to have Lance Allworth.
On Blue